vergüenza que vienen a robar y uno es tan pobre. Llevan el diezmo. Quiero una muchacha, quiero una mujer. No es eso un pecado, el cura pecando.
That's Paul Sanchez singing an excerpt from Pancho Villa from a Safe Distance, my creative capital project. I'm Graham Reynolds. I'm a composer from Austin, Texas. The piece is a nonlinear collage of scenes taken from or inspired by the life of Pancho Villa. The ensemble is 2 singers and a 6-piece band. The band is based around or built around producer, guitarist, Grammy winner Adrian Quesada. And the music is part Mexican and Tejano inspired, part rock opera, part chamber music suite, part sonic exploration. And the staging is by someone many of you know, Sean Sides, Creative Capital winner, and Rude Mex. So when I was in 5th grade, my family went to Mexico City. I'd never been out of the country. I'd never been immersed in another language. And most transformatively, I'd never really experienced the full potential and power of the arts. But the murals that were everywhere in particular made this huge impression on me and burned their images into my mind and planted this seed that lasted my whole life. Now my work, I put into 3 large loose buckets. I do live performance, and that's heavy on the improv and mean on the piano. Then I do concert music, and that's heavy on the notation, and then a third sort of large, messy bucket that's cross-medium collaborations like film, theater, dance, things like that. This piece takes all of them, puts them in one bucket, and throws in Mexico, and it feels like sort of all my work has been leading to this project. It started with a commission from Ballroom Marfa out in West Texas. They were joined by Fusebox Festival as co-commissioners, and they were interested in an opera. So Sean and I headed out to West Texas to look for an operatic figure. We searched around and found ourselves in El Paso. In El Paso, we stayed in this hotel where it turned out that Pancho Villa himself lived during the early part of the Mexican Revolution. So we had found our subject. This was a huge breakthrough and very exciting. It came with one big problem, and how is a white dude like me going to make an opera about this legendary, iconic Mexican figure? I knew I needed an amazing librettist team. So I asked La Garcia Estrada Sol Sol. This is Luis and Gabino. They do sort of docu-theater and specialize in Mexican history and politics and have a devised process that's perfect for the project. They're going to do the main libretto in Spanish, but I also wanted a thread of interludes in English to deal with the safe distance part of the title. Both my personal safe distance and then the safe distance from El Paso across the river to Juarez. This next picture is the hotel we stayed at, but 100 years ago during the war, people in El Paso would climb to the tops of the buildings and watch the battles across the river in Juarez. When I asked poet Carrie Fountain if she would be interested in writing this part of the piece, I knew she had Mexican-American heritage. What I didn't know was that her family, during the war, had crossed the river into El Paso as refugees and watched the battle across the river. So she joined the team, and I was very excited and felt very lucky. Gonna go to the next slide. Now, no one seems to have told Donald Trump that there's already a wall on the Mexican-American border. We see it every time we go there, and it seems to be a critical time to talk about borders and what they are and what they mean and why we have them. None of us here want this wall. We want to dismantle this wall. I don't want a border at all. To me, the safe distance between us should be right next to each other. My ask is simple. I'm looking for presenting partners for the piece, and I'm looking for booking representation for the project. If any of you have any ideas or help on that, that would be amazing. So I'm going to play you one little tiny clip more, an excerpt with Paul singing the climactic scene where Doroteo Arango becomes Pancho Villa, and then I'm going to join him on the piano, and you have to imagine that Paul is still singing, and the band is playing, and the opera's gone over for a little more than an hour, and we somehow earned this over-the-top ending. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Here's Paul Sanchez.
Mi amor, Pancho Villa.